It's transfer portal season, so we got to talk about our in-house commitment as well as portal guys we're looking at here on the Sooner or Later Sports Show. That is your boy Coop. I am Jay. Thanks for pulling up here on the YouTube channel and listening wherever podcasts are downloaded and listened to. While you're here, please wipe your feet, like, subscribe, rate, review, give us 5 stars. Y'all think we deserve it? Go ahead and give us 5 anyway and gift it. So on this beautiful Sunday evening, me and your boy Coops got a few things we're going to dive into, like a pretty big commitment, and we'll talk about where other Sooners in the portal have landed. We'll also dive into some of the targets that we know that we're going after and, just talk about that. Then, of course, lastly, we'll take all of your questions and really kind of go from there. Shout out to our partners over there at BetUS for sponsoring this video. They're hooking up the gamer. 150% bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000. 125% bonus on your second and third deposits by using promo code YouTube150. Coop, happy Sunday, man. How you doing?
Man, it is what are we 10 days out from Christmas, and what was that, 12 days out from the bowl game. We saw Navy get turned up yesterday, and so that's also great. But man, Jay, before we get started out here, just want to say to the chat, everybody here watching, we appreciate you guys. Man, always whether it's super chat, just your commentary, comments on the videos, appreciate you guys because man, you guys are why we do it, and we love talking it up with whether it's softball, basketball, football. It's this is a fun opportunity that we have.
Yeah, this is the season of showing gratitude and being grateful, and I'm grateful that we are able to do this. This is always fun to be able to hang out with y'all, talk ball, in good, in bad. Overall, we're still Sooner fans, and so we're here to really just hang out, like I said, as a family. I want to give first and foremost condolences to the Wilkerson family. We lost Jimmy Wilkerson. What was that? Friday. Thursday or Friday, it sounds like, he passed away that morning. So it was pretty sad. I actually heard about it on not too long afterwards. My son plays soccer at Carl Albert, and Jimmy's older son plays soccer with him. He plays football as well as he's their goalie for the soccer team. And so my son came home, and he was like, "Hey, Dad, Maddox's father passed away." And I'm like, "Wait, Jimmy Wilkerson died? What? And he's like, "Yeah, we saw, his son crying before practice and we didn't know what." And then the coaches told them at practice, because Maddox wasn't there at the soccer practice, kind of what happened. And of course, they had state on Saturday. Congratulations to them winning state again. But condolences to the Wilkerson family as, Sooner legend Jimmy passed away. I was looking at that Texas, that magazine cover of him smacking that Texas player, and I'm just like, man, that hurts your heart to see. He's 43 years old. So
yeah, take
care of yourselves as much as you possibly can. Control your controllables. Not a lot of things you can control, but you can control your controllables always. But prayer for them.
Yeah, and Jay, and I'd like to dedicate tonight to not only Jimmy, but my neighbor Jeff White. He's been on the program. We brought up his prayer request for cancer about a year and a half ago. He left us on Thursday also. He was rushed to the emergency room and rushed to Oklahoma City past couple days. And Thursday morning, wife got a call and said that she needed to be diligent about getting up to the hospital and just paying her last respects, saying goodbye. So Jeff White, survived by his wife Katie, and the kids Brett and Caitlin. And so, staring at him right here. Every single time I come on to do the show, when I turn on the lights and everything, I know that if I leave him on after the show, he'll make fun of me the next day about podcasting at 4 a.m. When he left for work or whatever. But yeah, man, just like I said, just dedicate that to Jeff White, and man, he's going to be missed. A Mizzou grad, but a hybrid OU fan. So appreciate you guys, and man, we like I said, can't do this without you all.
Yeah, can't at all. And so again, thank you all for pulling up. Hate to start off with a little somber moment, but we wanted to make sure that we acknowledged that before we got going, especially viewers as well as legends. So, but on top of that, Coop, we actually got some pretty good news portal wise. Not gonna lie, it kind of it falls in the world of portal, and so it really does deserve to be talked about. Give me a second. I'm gonna pull this up because it's definitely one of those that when it came across the desk, Coop, I looked at it like, oh heck no, man. Is this what we got to deal with now? Like, we really this is what's about to happen. This is what's going down. And I didn't lose my mind. I said, you know what? I'm just going to let it be. And that's basically it. And I'm going to get this pulled up for y'all to see because I think it's one that deserves front and centerness. Give me a second. I'm getting it. I thought I had it pulled up, but I did not.
Yeah. While you're pulling it up, Jay, it just from my perspective, I literally just had a conversation with somebody, and it was like, oh, so I mean, I think that we should get the Deion good news here sometime soon. And it wasn't 20, 30 minutes later when that video pops, and I was just like,
on to the next chapter? Is that what we're doing?
If anybody drops their final two and we're not on it at this point, I'm just thinking it's opposite day, and we're going to get anything that's positive, trending is going to go sideways. So,
right.
But this video was it got me. I was got. And I think what jumped out the most with it is just kind of how they sat down and talked about it. I'm going to turn the sound on. See if
Take the jersey in.
Yeah, I'm coming to.
Hey, look. Nobody repped that jersey
that, right?
better than you.
Right? Baker was
Nobody
in it.
repped
Baker was in it, man. Baker Mayfield was in it, but
yeah. Other than that,
But pretty much just wanted to come and talk to you. Pretty much is just say I appreciate everything you done for me, your time, everything. But yeah, I just want to give you my number personally.
well, listen. The thanks comes to you, okay, from us and what you've represented. I know this last year didn't go like you wanted it to. A lot of things were out of your control, but man, your competitive spirit, the toughness that you display from the moment you got here, thankfulness, humility, and a guy like yourself, you came in here and bought in immediately, to our standards and our culture, and immediately earned the respect of everybody in the building, players, coach, and everybody vibe. Just how you carried yourself. Look.
Appreciate that, Coach.
Yeah.
But I got one more thing, though, man. I ain't going yet, but I'll switch to the number 4.
What we talking about?
For those that haven't seen it, the invisible cameraman, we got that ready to come back.
Come on, man. I'm finished business. I'm in. Switch
Unfinished business.
Go back to stuff. You even got number 4, man.
We're going back to number 4.
Okay.
Because we had a change in the guard, Coop, we got Deion Burks to commit himself to being a wide receiver here at Oklahoma, playing here another season. And as I said, and it's funny, as Caleb points out here, the cameraman is invisible. You don't actually get to see him. The joy that we saw with everybody, the joy and excitement we saw in everybody's face of, man, it was a sigh of relief. You could feel the relief in the room, just like the whole wind, just like, and we needed that. And it was more so because it sounds like Jaden Gibson's going to make his return, as BV mentioned that in the presser. Sounds like he's going to rehab and come back. Deion Burks making his return, getting himself healthy. He'll be able to play. He's coming back. And then, you work with your young guys there. But, of course, we're active in the portal. But, Coop, when you saw it, like you opened up about how you like, dang it, it's opposite day, whatever. What else did you think about seeing this come down the line?
I mean, obviously there's a lot of thoughts that are going into this, and it's more than just the player and Oklahoma. It's about the player. It's about the future. And, so when you see Nick Anderson, we had all the stuff with the medical staff and, all those frustrations, and we're not going to get back into that. But you saw that. You saw Andrell Anthony, especially him posting videos of him running at around 70-75% speed. So if you were one that overreacted to him running around like a gazelle, that was not healthy running. So just FYI. You just needed something. And, somebody made a comment that, we've got our first portal entry, a punter. So we're heading in the right direction. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that the punter was one of our best weapons this year. So I will be excited about
Shout out to that. Yes.
Because Elzinga saved our bacon. It could have been worse. We could not be getting ready for a bowl game because of Elzinga. But I just say this is, it was the beginning of some of the good news. And I believe that we are, merely hours away from more good news, Jay. And so, again, you got to think about this is portal's been open for 7 days at this point. There's bowl teams there's teams in the playoff that have not started their whole portal entry situations. And then after you lose in the playoff, you get an extra 5 days right there to hit the portal if you want. So you're going to have another,
wave.
Another wave of people hitting every week that there are playoff games. So there's a couple rounds. So that means there's going to be a couple rounds of playoffs. Now, do I think that we're getting, waiting for the, backup, not getting enough time, offensive tackle at Boise to, look at? No, I don't think that. But
whoa. I think we are. I mean, we only go for G5 players, remember? That's what the fans think.
Yes, exactly. I won't even acknowledge that. But yeah, there's going to be waves of people coming. Also, I am of the if I had to bet money, I would be betting on Mateer being an Oklahoma Sooner. Now, I'm not going to speak in definites because all it takes is one crazy ass donor to come in and go, "Hey yo, here we are," and Mateer, I think is done. I think it's done. I think that's just my opinion. I can't use speaking definites. Things go sideways. Someone shows up, $2 million, come be our quarterback. All of a sudden, different decisions are being made. But I just feel like we're going to see a little bit more stuff to be happy about this week, Jay.
Exactly. I love that. I know that it's going to come down the line. Time's going to come. Deion Burks news is always is. To me, that feels like a confirmation of some potential additions that could come. Because truth be told, if Deion Burks felt like, there wasn't a plan in place, there's an idea of players that could potentially come and potential players being around, I don't think he would have tried to figure out a way to re-up and stay. That's a great reason to leave. And I put out a video earlier this week, Coop. And I was hoping to calm some nerves with this video. I don't know if I did, if I didn't. Some I did, some I didn't. But what I looked at was that Emmett Jones has the players that are currently on roster today. Only the young guys are the ones that he actually recruited here. Andrell Anthony showed up hours before he was announced as hired. So he could have had a hand in Andrell. That's a possibility. Brennan was definitely a recruit of his. But majority of the players were not his players. Most of these wide receivers are guys that had no affiliation with Emmett Jones except for him coaching them up. Then you got to look at the other flip side of, do you want to go in the spring with a roster full of a lot of players that are hurt currently and may not be able to practice, and where you're still practicing with the young players anyway? And I know that some of the other guys also like the opportunity for clean slates based upon the way they feel about how the medical staff did or how their treatments went or whatever. it only made sense that we lost a lot of players on the wide receiver side. Now, it's about evaluating players and determining who makes sense to bring in for the Ben Arbuckle system. Remember, we got a new OC. So he's probably got some say in those conversations with EJ of, you know what, I would prefer a guy like this. EJ, what do you think about this guy? What do you think about that guy? So I'm sensing they're actually working in collaboration of finding those. But it's going to take a little bit of time. Because I think the one thing, like you mentioned before, the quarterback is going to be critical. We have Michael Hawkins out there that we know is going to play in the bowl game. Shout out to him. It's Michael Hawkins season. Let's see him go out there and give us another massive performance. He's got a great chance against Navy to do that. But, and I think Deion Burks should be actually healthy at that point to play. While at the same time, Brent Venables talked about it in his presser that we got to get down to 105. And I saw your question, Kim. I'm going to pop this up here real quick. You asked the question at the beginning of the video, how many players are in the portal now? And I think it's 23 scholarship players. Toss in probably an additional, we'd say 10 walk-ons. So we may have about 30-something players in the portal. We're close. And we're going to talk about some of the players and their new homes that they got. But before we do that, I want to give a shout out to our partner over there at BetUS. They are hooking up the gamer. 150% bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000. 125% bonus on your second and third deposits by using promo code YouTube150. And so with BetUS, if you go check out the lines for the games, the Navy-Oklahoma game has been pulled, mainly because we don't know who the heck's going to play at wide receiver. We know quarterback, but we got a young set of wide receivers, so they're figuring that out. But if you want to get into action for the playoffs, you got those games there. Other bowl games, they're going to take care of you. 150% bonus on your first deposit of $2,000. 125% bonus on your second and third deposit by using promo code YouTube150. BetUS, where the game begins. And so, Coop, some of our guys found new homes. And it's kind of intriguing. This one shocked me. Jackson Arnold went to Auburn. So I hopped on with some of my some other creators from Auburn, the War Report, earlier today. We talked about this move, and they're asking the question, was this actually a good move for them? Was this a good move for Auburn? Because then I just heard not too long ago that Ashton Daniels, the quarterback from Stanford, will also be visiting visiting right now, next couple of days. And it sounds like they're going to probably take 3 quarterbacks because they lost, I think, 4 to the portal. So they're going to take 3 quarterbacks. I don't know how I know that Jackson Arnold going there and playing in Hugh Freeze's RPO should be a good thing. But I don't know if it's going to actually be a good thing. What you think?
Jackson Arnold has the physical talent. I think that he got into a spot to where he was always chasing something. And I think that he turned into a little bit of a head case. I do not like this for Jackson Arnold. Because against us, Hugh Freeze ran Peyton Thorne from a competent quarterback who was tossing the ball around on our defense to a guy throwing pick sixes. And a guy who did not look very, very sure of anything at that point. So I don't like this because if Jackson Arnold is really indeed that fragile, Hugh Freeze can't be screaming at him, telling him he's wrong, calling timeouts and, berating him. That's not going to work out. That's not a very good investment. That is like buying a boat and putting it in the backyard and putting a tarp over it and being, developing a fear of water. It just is not a good idea. So, but again, when we were talking about the other day, I said I didn't really feel that the Mississippi State thing was really that big of a possibility. I thought Auburn might be it because, when we did the schedule release, I was like, maybe Jackson Arnold's return to Norman. And So, but he will be. Jackson Arnold will be returning. Will he be the starting quarterback? We'll see.
Yeah, that's the crazy one. It's I wonder what that does look like in that RPO system. You're right, because Thorne came to Auburn after throwing for had a 3,000-yard season at Michigan State, and I don't know if y'all knew this. I did the numbers on it. Auburn has had one 3,000-yard passer in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
One. Jarrett Stidham, 2017. Cam Newton didn't even get 3,000 yards at Auburn, and he won the Heisman. But he rushed for 1,500 yards to go with his 2,600 yards passing. Kind of crazy, right, that happened. Shout out to our guy, Stink Ass Cat. He's late. He's watching Bake, and the Bucks light it up. We appreciate the $50, my man. Definitely. That was a great game. But that's the funny thing. It's It's funny to see that they haven't had that, and I've had a few people already say they think that this is going to happen with Jackson. I'm looking at everybody saying that's absolutely no chance. No shade to him, but that's just not what they do at Auburn. It's never worked out that way. Somehow, some way, haven't been able to figure it out. Like I said, Thorne's had a 3,000-yard pass season. He did it at Michigan State. Feels like decisions are made in a weird way at that school.
Yeah, very, very, very much. And let's just be honest. What's the average tenure for most SEC coaches? Would you want to be going into a year with all the talent? Because guess what? Jackson Arnold's going to walk into this next year like he was supposed to be walking into this year. Yep. You got talent around you with Smith Lambert and Coleman, good tight ends. I don't think that is it Marquez, the running back? I don't think that he's going to be
Jacquez Hunter? Yeah.
Jacquez
Hunter's gone. Jacquez is gone.
I don't think that he's supposed to be back. But Auburn likes running backs, and they're good at running backs. So would you like to be a coach, saddling out there, walking Jackson Arnold out there to be the link between you and a job for the upcoming year? I don't know if that's a good idea. Now, again, do I wish Jackson Arnold the best? Yes, I really do. Would I like to say that Seth Luttrell just kind of screwed him over and jacked him up mentally? I would like to blame it all on Seth Luttrell. I just think that certain guys, when you are not a 24/7, it's in my blood type of a guy, adversity is easier to walk away from when football's not like everything to you.
Right.
And so let's find out what happens. It'll be a good story to follow.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see how that actually works out for him, but I thought it was a very fascinating piece. But there was also some interesting news that came down the line that I did not point out. We'll talk about some of the players that found new homes, because this coach actually found a new home. And I thought this, to me, is kind of a indicator of sorts that everybody has been hoping for and waiting for. This guy right here, this is John Kusiewski. He is the quarterback coach at Washington State. He is now the assistant quarterback coach and offensive analyst at Oklahoma. Assuming that he hasn't been... It's assuming that he was supposed to have been the actual play caller for Washington State in their bowl game. And it sounds like this deal was possibly done before, and it somehow leaked, so it was decided to just go ahead and get announced. But I don't think John's going to be the play caller the bowl game for Washington State. Now, they got to figure out who that is. But to me, this is a good indication. You said this earlier, Coop. You believe that Mateer is going to end up a Sooner. I could totally see that myself. But I need to wait for him to hit the portal. And I need to see him show up to class. Because like you said, Dylan Gabriel was supposed to go to UCLA until his former offensive coordinator got a new job and picked up the phone and said, "Hey, you in class yet?" "No." "Would you like to be starting quarterback at the University of Oklahoma?" who would not want to be the starting quarterback at the University of Oklahoma. I'll pack my things. I'll see you soon.
Caleb Williams. Just kidding.
Caleb played the entire bowl game and then bounced right afterwards. So
yeah,
they thought that, and I actually saw this on social media not too long ago. If you go over there to Washington State's, to their board, it sounded like how Sooner fans were talking when we were waiting for Caleb to make a decision.
He's coming back, right?
He's playing the bowl game. He said he's going to be committed and he's going to stay all the way through.
Jay, speaking in definitives when you do this is what gets you yelled at, what gets you ridiculed, which gets you, pointed out, right? You try to hip up to the top of the hill to yell something so that everybody can hear it and see who yelled it. And you get it wrong, you get knocked down off the top of the hill, right?
Yep.
So from what I understand is, this was a situation where this was kind of a done deal. This was kind of a quiet situation. It kind of got out beyond, it's in our control, going forward. And so then all of a sudden, because it's just an awkward time, like there's no explanation that says, why did it not happen at the same time Arbuckle happened, and why would you not wait until when Mateer happens, right? So
yep,
it's just one of those situations, guys. Like, I know it's hard. I really, really know it's hard, and based on what I said earlier, like we got other waves of the portal happening, and I always tell my son, he'll get Christmas money or birthday money. And we'll go to the store, and the first thing he sees is like, I want this. And I'm like, why don't we look around a little bit? Well, I want this. Well, I understand. Daddy, it's on sale. I want this. It's like if you go after the first thing, your money's gone. And then if something greater happens, you're like, I can't do anything. So I really think that this is going to be a good week for Oklahoma fans. You want to see the influx of receivers and offensive linemen and defensive linemen and stuff like that. And I just, it being done mid-season with letting Latrell go, the guys, the coaching staff wanted to start getting work in at that point.
Right.
Whether it's putting your ear to the ground, whether it's shenanigans, whether it's tampering, whatever word you want. Evil shenanigans. My shenanigans are cheeky and fun. But if you do that, it runs a risk. Like, a lot of people are freaked out right now because you're out there and you're watching Texas Tech get a guy. You're watching, Minnesota get a guy. You're watching all these other programs get a guy. And so it's frustrating right now because you're just like, what in the hell? Like, I want to believe. But let's be honest, like the coaching staff has not done a great job giving you reasons to believe that they can execute things like this. So I'm guessing that by Sunday night next week, Jay, this team looks a little bit different. I think the fan base feels a little bit different. And if not, then I'll sit here and say, apparently I didn't know what I was talking about. But getting that guy back in, number one, Jay, that's a quarterback coach. We have asked for a quarterback coach. You saw what a quarterback coach could do to a damaged individual mid-season. Pointed the, stop the bleeding, stop the arrow from trending all the way down. So now you got that. I also think that there is a tight ends coach that is waiting in the wings right now. The only person that's ever called plays on our football team, Jay, is who?
Kevin Johns and Joe John Finley. But Kevin Johns is looking to be gone.
Kevin Johns is wanted to be a Cowboy. Should have been a Cowboy.
Yeah, he's headed to Oklahoma State. So, yeah. I expect Joe John to be the one call the plays in the bowl game.
Very much.
I'll just say that. That's really the only person you got that's running the same playbook. Arbuckle's not going to be able to call the terminology that the players have already learned in this short period of time. So that's what's going to be it right now, right? Chucky asked this question. You guys say he would say something at the end of this week. No, we didn't. That is definitely not what we said. We pointed out that the Washington State insiders pointed that material's going to take this weekend to be with his family
Sunday.
and come to something. Today's Sunday. We're still waiting on him. He was in Missouri this weekend. His sister graduated from like Missouri S&T or something like that. A small school in Missouri. His sister graduated college. Mm-hmm. And so he is there on a family visit at his sister's graduation. That's where we know he was at. Nobody said he was making a decision. They told us that they expect him to have a decision made over the weekend when he sits with his family. Mainly because it sounds more and more like the Washington State people don't believe he's going to actually play in the bowl game. That's the case. I don't know. All I know is we're waiting to see how this plays out. But getting John Kusiewski, that to me sounds like there is that means movement is happening. But we talked about Kevin Johns. He's gone to Oklahoma State. Joining Kevin Johns is Caleb Hicks. He has just committed to the Pokes. Yay!
Yeah, it's.
I'm happy for him. He needed a program that hopefully will run the ball actually for a change. I'm happy for him.
And again, I think that Caleb Hicks. I don't know. I mean, obviously, the guy didn't get any significant run. There were people, passing him up. And so, do I think he's a traitor for going to Oklahoma State? No, this isn't the same thing as Kelly Maxwell or Trace Ford. That's not what this is. This is a guy who stayed in the power conferences, but slid down a little bit. And so now he has almost mentally, I mean, I don't think that the expectations are going to be as big around him at Oklahoma State. But at the same time, I mean, if you get a running back from your rival big brother who is supposed to be better, you expect him to come and compete. So hopefully he can. Hopefully he can get in there and compete and win a spot. I mean, it's the Cowboys continue to put out guy after guy after guy at running back. So maybe Caleb Hicks is the next guy. I wish him the best.
Yeah, I do as well. And, proud of him. Hopefully something big happens for him, though. But this is the one that's interesting one to me. Bauer Sharp's going to be an LSU Tiger. I thought it was funny and fascinating at the same time without people realizing that, on a serious note, he's from Louisiana. And he seems like he might actually do well when you have him as like a fifth option. You don't make him the whole centerpiece of your offense. I think Bauer Sharp's going to be a good player. Like,
is he ever going to be a great blocker? I don't think so.
He has great blocking moments, but he'll never be a great blocker. But at the same time, you don't have that dude blocking edges. Like, that just makes no sense.
No,
it's not what he's built for.
Now, I think he will look better against LSU next year because just natural progression of his exposure. Like, he will look better. There will be times where, like, where was that last year? Well, last year was his, AKA being this year, was his first year playing at D1 level with D1 athletes. This guy all of a sudden was a bully on a block of bullies when he came up to Oklahoma. Now, he's going to have another year of strength and conditioning. He's going to have another year of working with, potentially a competent tight ends coach. No shot taken. But anybody, I'm guessing, I'm assuming he's a competent tight ends coach over at LSU. But that's just it. I mean, he's going to be better. Now, if you're an LSU fan watching this and you're thinking like, man, we're going to fix this one, like, pump the brakes there too. Like, can he be a 450-yard, 3-touchdown guy? Sure. I think that's what Bauer Sharp can be. Can he be a guy who is going to, maybe help you chip down along the goal line? Sure, maybe. Is he the guy, like you just said, Jay, to he's not Travis Kelce. He's not George Kittle. He is not any of those guys, and he's not going to be. Can he be a complimentary piece as a number 5 option? Sure. Why not?
Right. That's what it is. And yeah, that's where CougsFan.com is the one that, like I said, pointed that out, Chuck. That's what we were talking about. Here's the actual tweet. The coach there said after practice that Mateer's spending the weekend with his family and will hopefully have a decision after that. That was on 13th, and that's what we were talking about.
Yeah, and I mean, listen. If the dude just bounced out of Washington State and said, deuces, I'm out, like that pretty much doesn't sum up what kind of person John Mateer is. I read an article that he is the epitome of a Washington State football player, that, they could really make him the next big thing. The only thing wrong with that, Jay, it's not wrong, but who was the last great Washington State quarterback?
Cam Ward.
Yeah. No, he was a very good player, but trophy parks, Heisman trophies, anything, nothing. Like, listen, if you are Mr. Washington State football, with all due respect to Washington State, that don't mean a hell of a lot of anything. Whereas if you're just a good quarterback here, yeah, that's where I was going, Wes, is maybe Ryan Leaf. I think that there was another Washington State guy. I'll have to think about it, but I think there was another Washington State quarterback that was pretty good for a few years too. But yeah, I mean, here's my thing is, if he wanted to stay and really be remembered at Washington State, I think that's very, very, very cute and all, but
admirable.
I mean, there's just
not
mistaken football. There's not a bunch of football, mystery. Jason Gesser. Gardner Minshew. That's who I was thinking about. Minshew.
Minshew mania, baby. He was.
The porn stash made a journeyman popular for a short while, but I digress. It's Bauer Sharp to LSU. I mean, it is what it is. We'll see him next year, and I promise you this is we know what he can do. So. If he is trying to chip somebody on the edge or something like that to help out, or if he's pulling out on a GC counter, where a zone insert with a tight end has to come back in and block, I promise you we're going to like those matchups next year too.
I agree. And I actually like what Mateer would have to offer if he makes it here. But, hey, Bauer Sharp, happy for him. Good luck going to out there in the bayou, going back home. That's the good thing for him, is he gets to actually go back home. But once again, y'all, thank y'all for pulling up to the channel. We appreciate it. Shout out to BetUS to hooking up the gamer. 150% bonus on your first deposit of $2,000. 125% on your second and third by using promo code YouTube150. So, cool. Everybody's stressed out, as you can see in our comments. They want to know who we getting. Who we getting out of the portal, Coop? Who about to become legends at Oklahoma? I'm going to be honest. I have zero clue. We did get a punter, but I ain't got no clue. And I honestly don't think very many people actually know. There was a question in here that was very interesting, asking about the Rice offensive tackle that ended up at Iowa. Has he made a decision? I don't think Ethan has made a decision, has he?
Yeah, I can't say his last name.
Ethan
Oinawa.
Now I think that's what it is. I got to look him up. But yeah, he hasn't. Ethan Oinawa. Let me go look him up real quick. He just hit the portal. I don't think he hasn't. I think he's done visits, but I don't think he has a home.
I don't think so yet. But also, Jay, on that point, what is possible is people can go, hey, I have my own career. I like that very, very much. But Jay, if I commit to Texas Tech to play wide receiver today, am I locked in?
Oh, absolutely not. I think, and I'm glad you pointed that out because I wanted to add that component too. We talked about this at the beginning. Dylan Gabriel was committed to play at UCLA until he wasn't.
He was
until
on his way to class.
January 1st, which was when you'll get to the 14 playoff at that point, until they are on campus, either taking an intersession class or they are enrolled January 21st, which is the day after the national championship. That's when classes start. If they ain't in class on that day, they ain't signed. They will come to agreements, but until they show up to class, in today's transfer portal era, don't mean anything.
It means less than anything, Jay. If anything, we got mad because we had a couple players who did this on the recruiting trail this year who committed and kind of just kept their minds elsewhere, looking around, feeling around, seeing what they can get. And that's the same thing that happened. Like, I'm just saying this, that if somebody let's play this scenario out. You got a receiver. You like him a lot. You evaluate him at a certain dollar figure, and a lower university goes to him and says, we're going to give you $100K more. Yep. We can come right back around and say, we give you $105K more, right? Like there is a bidding war still to be had. So I would say this is there are some people who feel like tonight big conversations could happen with a certain quarterback's camp. And worst case scenario, by the end of the day, by Tuesday morning, that we're looking at having something out loud. When that happens, just like in a recruiting class, you get a quarterback, things will start kind of shuffling around. Those conversations are happening. Hey, you remember how we told you our plan was to have this guy here at quarterback? Well, now he has hit the portal. He is about to commit. Keep your eyes peeled. We'll call back here in a couple days. These conversations are going on. I don't care. They could say, take the graphic of their chest and with a tattoo of a university's logo on there. It doesn't mean a thing. It does not mean a thing yet.
Nope, not at all. And you're also seeing everybody likes to follow the follows. So if you go on social media, you want to follow the follows, you can do that. Supposedly Washington State has begun following a substantial amount of quarterbacks. Washington State's staff has. So their anticipation is potentially that there's going to be a job for a quarterback in need.
Job opening is what you would be looking at.
They're looking for a potential quarterback. But we'll see. I don't know.
Washington State. General Booty, Washington State.
Oh, that'll be good. I kind of miss General Booty. I'm not going to lie. Just because of the name. I didn't want him to actually ever take a snap here. I just wanted him to keep the name here. Because it's just dope. But it does sound like there's one player that I will say that jumped out to me. Shout out to our guy, Colin Kennedy over there, 247.
CK.
And I'm keeping a very close eye on this young man, as I will show you the tweet. I think
tweet it out, my
tweet
friend.
Makes sense to show.
Oh, yeah. I know what that tweet is.
Because this one, to me, is pretty important. Because this gentleman is expected to be visiting on Tuesday. Now, for those that don't know who this is Jerand Bradley. Jerand Bradley played at Texas Tech for Emmett Jones. Jerand Bradley transferred to Boston College instead of Oklahoma. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think the reason he transferred to Boston College and not Oklahoma is because we didn't have any place for him to play. That was when you thought you had Gibson back, Nick Anderson back. You just picked up Deion Burks. You had Jalil Farouk back. right? You had a room of wide receivers that was pretty extensive. So the anticipation was that love to have a young 6'5" to come in to join them, but you've got a lot of dudes already ready to play. I mean, you got your starting 4 right there: Gibson, Rook, Nick Anderson. Who else am I forgetting? I'm having a brain moment.
Deion Burks
that just got transferred in.
Andrell.
There it is. Andrew Anthony's your 5th one. All 5 of those guys were expected to play. So where do you put him? Where do you grab him and basically let him waste? Now, granted, if we did take him, it would have been great because he'd been playing the entire season. But hindsight is 50-50, mainly because you did not foresee all your dudes getting hurt in camp. And the portal wasn't open at that point once we...
Wait, did you just get a shout out to Cam Newton?
I love Cam-isms.
You said hindsight is 50-50.
I love pushing the pendulum forward. We're going to ink this in gold. What are we doing here? But anyway.
Just making sure that's...
I love Cam-isms, dog. Cam Newton's Cam-isms were always fantastic. I actually have the YouTube video of him going through all of them and all his press conferences. But yes, hindsight 50-50. I digress. He had no home. He had no space, no place to play. So it made no sense to snatch up a dude that's not going to actually play for you. Kyle, Mateer did not hit the portal. He is not in the portal. There's no announcement of him hitting the portal. Yeah. We're hoping he hits the portal soon so everybody can be, happy, healthy, But he ain't hit the portal yet. But I digress. I would keep an eye on Bradley. I would keep a big-time eye on him because I think that he will probably most likely end up being your wide receiver take.
And Jay, he did not have a terrific year at Boston College this year, but Castellanos, the quarterback, he is a he's a street backyard football guy. Like, it is just pure on, run around crazy. But I do say that in 2023, Jerand Bradley, 36 catches, 431 and 4. 2022, 51 catches, 745 and 6 touchdowns. So the guy has some capability to put up some numbers. So that's 12 touchdowns in the past 3 years. That would have let's see here. That's let's doing the math. That's 4 touchdowns a year. That have been our leading receiver this year. Yep. So. Is Jerand Bradley a guy that's going to come in here and vie to be the number 1 wide receiver? Don't think so. Is he going to be a guy who can come in and be a good number 2 or a number 3? Very much. So I think he adds another big body. I believe he's 6'3", 6'5", 222.
6'5", 222.
So a big body.
6'5", deuce.
You're going to have Deion Burks coming back again at 5'10", 200 pounds. He can bench press and squat, half of a planet. And so you're going to have the small, and you got the walk-on who got the Jordan, who got the scholarship the other day. You hope to get another little small guy. Gibson comes back. Kearney, carry on. Those guys are all big. You got Reagan's. Daniels, if he sticks it out, but I think in the portal, you need to see kind of that mid-range 6'1", 6'2", do it all guy, and I think you still need a little burner.
Yep, you're gonna need another one. You also got the young guys, and there's a good question in here. DWP asked if Mateer doesn't hit the portal, is Michael Hawkins the guy? If so, can Arbuckle develop him? Heck yeah, he can.
Very much.
You wanna know how I know Arbuckle can? Arbuckle did some magical stuff with Cam Newton. I'm sorry, with Cam Ward. Cam Ward going up there to Washington State from Incarnate Word. Because easily Cam Ward could have followed his coach Leftwich and G.J. Klein up to Texas State, but instead he went to Washington State with Arbuckle. Got up there with Arbuckle, cooked, and then ended up at Miami. Because he was at Washington State for 2 years with one of his coaches, Eric Moore. Actually, Eric Moore is the one that found him. Eric Moore took the North Texas job. He could have brought him back down to North Texas with him, which honestly would have made more sense for Cam, but Cam stayed. Arbuckle came in there, cooked it up with him. Numbers jumped. Saw an increase in percentages, especially completion. And then he decided to take his talents over to Miami, where he made some bread. And now he's a Heisman Trophy finalist.
Mm-hmm. Was.
Yeah, was. He was a finalist. Well, he still is a finalist. He just didn't win it. He made it in the Final Four. He's in New York. But then from there, though, Coop, when you look at it.
He's still there. But going along with, and again, yeah, is Cam Ward a very, very talented quarterback? Sure. Cam Ward is a highly talented quarterback. He's very good. They've lost 2 games, and they scraped by and need some official help to win 2 more games this year. I just say this is Michael Hawkins is no different. How many years has Michael Hawkins had a good quarterback coach and offensive coordinator in college football so far, Jake?
He's only been here for 1 year, so yeah, only one. He hasn't had a single one. So
the answer would be
one.
0.
Exactly.
0.
He has 0. He's only been here for a year, so he has 0. Next season, he gets that.
Yeah. But I also say this is, do you want to go back into the SEC with Michael Hawkins, a true sophomore at quarterback? Nothing behind him at all. No, that's why Mateer coming here is beneficial. I still think that Mateer can, at the very, very best, ball the hell out and go to the NFL. That would look really, really good for a certain offensive coordinator. But most likely it's come back, play 2 years, and then hand it over to Michael Hawkins, who has had good quarterback study tutelage and has sat there and learned. Mateer knows the system already, so you don't have the new system situation, if Mateer comes to Oklahoma. But with, Michael Hawkins, he's going to be on not even a full 12 months here, Jay, but he is already learning the name of his 3rd offensive coordinator.
Yeah. And that's going to be what is going to be key for the development of Michael Hawkins is can Arbuckle get him and Kusiewski, can they get him really going? Because Hawkins is pretty skilled. So we got to see with that. Boomer129, this cracks me up. You said Jaleel Hurley has committed to Kansas. Kansas people, have you never seen the cornerbacks that have played at Kansas? They've got 2 dudes right now that's going to get drafted day 2. And Aqib Talib is a former Kansas Jayhawk. Chris Harris Jr., who's from Oklahoma, and played for the Broncos. From Bigsby. It's not corner is if there's one position I know Kansas will get, it's a corner, and that's when they sucked.
Yeah, and that's when they're bad. But I also get this, like, guys, I am of the mindset that when we were beating Alabama for defensive backs. I'm just going to make up a name. I'm going to call him Latrell McCutcheon. I think that when we got defensive backs over Bama, that was a guy who probably was never going to see the field or be an impact player at Bama. He never ended up being an impact player here or USC or Houston. So, there are guys who, may bounce out from Alabama and go, listen, man, I'm not going to get the same Nick Saban Hall of Fame coaching, and maybe take my talent and go somewhere else. But also, I got to say this is like you go to Kansas and you ball out, like there's a pedigree. There's a lot of people who see the defensive backs at Kansas just like they see offensive linemen here at Oklahoma. Is you'll be willing to take a guy who you don't know a lot about in the 6th or 7th round and hope to God that he follows the same pedigree and turns into a Pro Bowl corner, because that's what Aqib Talib was. Some of the biggest Super Bowl champion too. Some of the biggest contracts as a defensive back. Chris Harris Jr. probably better out of the 2. He was just an absolute stud. That's kind of who Eli Bowen reminds me of.
Same. And so we need to build up some more of the quote unquote Zach Sanchez type corners where teams are looking at us for corners. But yeah, Kansas really does be putting them together. Jeremy 1978 asked the question, what are the chances that Arbuckle gets the offense turned around next season? Coop, I'm going to be honest. It's about a 99.9% chance he does. There's a very is a 1% chance that I think we are worse than what the heck we were this past season.
Yeah.
0.1%.
are you asking, like, can he make it a functional offense this year? I promise you it'll be a functional offense this year. Is it going to be what it was last year or what it was under Caleb Williams or Baker Mayfield? I don't think that is in the cards this first year. It does not need to be. If we roll out an offense that looks kind of like, the DG, Jeff Lebby's offense last year, guys, we're in the playoff right now with that offense. If you put a functional offense out there, what do we win? Bare minimum 2 games. Maybe you say the Missouri game, maybe the Ole Miss game. Maybe there's one other game in there, but you just do that, and you're sitting here at what? What would 2 wins better be? 8-4. We feel a lot different. So he just has to come in here. Number 1, establish a plan. And number 2,
a plan.
Scheme somebody's ass open. That is literally what this entire Sooner fan base wants to see right now is show me that you have a Deion Burks and you know how to get him the ball without 14 guys ready to tackle his ass.
Put it this way. The most important thing you have to build in the SEC that we have learned this past season is you've got to have a defense. If you ain't got a defense, it ain't going to work. Offense, you can figure it out. Defense got to show. I thought Tennessee's offense was going to be way more high octane than they were. They were not in SEC play.
They were not.
Texas did everything against everybody except for Georgia. And look at the scores. They were low. Struggles there with Kentucky. Struggles there with Vandy. But the defense was what A&M. The defenses were what really carried Texas throughout their wins. The defense. They had a really good defense. They did that. Georgia, same thing. I mean, the weird thing was the Bama game is the only one that they really looked like crud. That one in Ole Miss. Ole Miss's defense actually showed up except for in a couple of games. Most of these wins, though, they're like Ole Miss, the losses by Ole Miss, losses by Georgia, except I think the Alabama was only one. Most of them was all under 30 points. So your goal is to get about 25 a game. We can do that. With the way that our run game works, we showed that we didn't even have to throw the ball against Alabama, and we won it 24-3.
Yeah.
The defense is what's going to have to carry you. And so we're building that now.
Yeah, and again, we are bad play call against Missouri as is. A bad just kind of crumbling against Missouri. I mean, from this season feeling a lot different. You're one more win away from, beating the Vegas spread, on wins. So I don't think that he has to bring in a Lincoln Riley type of offense year one. I think you set the foundation and you show people what you're capable of. Now, are we still going to have a tough time next year? Sure. Now, every single year that we've been doing this, Jay, I keep on saying I don't really necessarily place a lot of stock for the mercenary type of teams to go and make a difference when it comes to the national championship. Can they make it to the playoffs? Yeah. Can they win? Can they be a really good team? Yes. But right now, I would much rather be like an Ohio State or an Ole Miss, wondering, if zero things, if we just had one or two more things go well, I'd rather be there than where we're at right now. So I think that Arbuckle will come in, whoever is the quarterback, and it'll be much better this next year.
I totally agree. And that's the one thing you get out of it is I see that all we've got to do is get an offense that can burn clock and move the ball.
Very much.
I think the most impressive thing we did this entire season was that last drive against Alabama. We held the ball for over 6 minutes to win the game. You can't beat that. You can't beat that.
And just get out of your own way, right? Yep. Like it's Brent Venable's record when he wins the turnover margin, very, very good. But it is hard to win the game with so many glaring weaknesses on your football team when you turn the ball over. And it showed. Listen, that team that beat Alabama, they didn't kind of beat Alabama. They didn't luckily beat Alabama. They beat the hell out of Alabama. And so that's what a football team with zero turnovers can do. Did they light it up on offense? No. we looked like Army-Navy game. That's all it looked like. No passing threat at all. You just run out there and you just, 3 yards in a cloud of dust. So I like it. You're a couple pieces away from feeling really good. It's not going to be very long before everybody in this chat right here, Jay, is sitting here listening to us blather on just a couple of jackwagons who created a YouTube page and talk about Sooner football. We're all going to be sitting here going, I'm on the over of the 7.5 wins that Vegas put up. Like, that is crap. Vegas is an idiot. Vegas is, they're disrespecting. They're looking down on us. We're going to be thinking that this Sooner team is going to the playoffs in just a few weeks. And I promise you that's going to be the case.
I put it to you all this way. The minute it's established who the quarterback is, at that point, Vegas will probably have that number set. And it's going to be a number that y'all are going to be really shocked about. And I don't think it's going to be low. You're going to look at that and be like, no, that's stupid. If it looks really stupid, it's a lot. If you think it's a lot higher than it's supposed to be, take the over. Just listen to me when I say it. Take the over. Because I really see that. Now, on top of that, let's wrap this up with a bow on it. Shout out to our partners over at BetUS. Check them out. They're hooking up the gamer. 150% bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000. 125% bonus on your second and thirds by using promo code YouTube150 Coop. As we get close to the end, good questions in here. Some players everybody's pointing out. Yeah, remember, we still got a lot of young dudes that we're waiting to kick into high gear, especially on the offensive side. If we can get those young guys to kick it into high gear, give me some ZK, some Zion Kearney, give him some Ivan Carry-On. Get yourself healthy. Jaden Gibson, we'll count him out until he shows us that he's healthy. But Elijah Thomas, Manny Choice. So you got Manny Choice and Ivan Carry-On is going to be your 6'5", 6'6" guys. You've got Elijah Thomas as well as Zion Kearney at your 6-footers. Adding in Zion Ragin as well as KJ Daniels as more your slot guys with Deion Burks, who is back. Jacob Jordan also jumping in the slot. We're going to add some more wide receivers to that component. But you still got those young dudes that we were really excited about coming in as recruits that now have the opportunity to be schemed open and they're going to be able to grow for us. That's what we need to focus our attention on. It's not going to be perfect, but we've got the young bulls that are ready to play. You got Xavier Robinson, Taylor Tatum. I understand Taylor Tatum has his unfortunate issues, but I bet you that dude comes in with a more focused run game next year, especially after we saw what Xavier Robinson could do. X-Rob gets in the game, runs for 140. You're like, oh, shoot. I better get my stuff together. And we still have Barnes and the Chucks are still on roster. We don't know what they're going to do yet.
Right now.
Waiting to hear. So, but you still got some young running backs. The offensive line is a year older, which is what you wanted. You wanted them to get to this point. They look so much better as the season progressed. Troy Everett's still your center. You've got age going in those guards and tackles now. They've got the experience you've been looking for to say, hey, here's your film. Go out there and be mean. All I got to do is be mean and I'll make it happen. So that's why I'm not that concerned. That's why I don't think that it makes sense to be losing my mind about it. Natural progression. You get better over time. I would like us to pick up a corner, though. I want us to get us one more. Now that Kanai is gone, the corner room is very young. I would like a veteran to join them. And I'm hoping we get one that we're chasing after. Was that Ethan O'Connor? Hopefully he decides to circle back after his visit. That's what I'm hoping for.
But I also think, too, is not only, okay, so let's play the game of Mateer announces comes to OU. Everybody realized that Washington State's probably going to have several people who are like, okay, so since it's real, I'm out too. And then, once that happens, you're going to see people who thought, well, maybe this team was getting John Mateer. Well, now you're not. Now you're like, all right, I've stuck around for a little bit longer. There's going to be dominoes. When you see the domino tweets and the domino gifs on Twitter, like, there's a reason. it is an absolute guarantee that when one team has a couple moving pieces and another team gets another moving pieces, wherever those pieces come from, there's more movement. So is it on the defensive side of the ball? Is there going to be a Georgia defensive back who says, you know what? I've enjoyed my time here, but I'm a little bit more serious about football, and I want to just focus back on this and not all the DUIs. Maybe I'm serious, Jay. Like, that was the conversation I was having with the guy just the other day. Is he's like, trust me, it's not a given deal that guys are willing to stick at Georgia right now because of the culture stuff.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, and this was a Georgia guy, so it's not like a guy who just likes to talk. So, I mean, yeah, there's still several waves of the transfer portal that's coming. And I promise you, there's been conversations going on and a plan being developed and, scouting and whatnot for a couple weeks now.
Yeah. So just buckle up, man. Just buckle up. And not be afraid to throw the ball. I think we'll be fine. X-Rob's going to be fun to see next season. He's already won all of our hearts. And so we know that that's going to be a very fun one there. So, yeah.
I mean, listen, is Mateer a done deal? If you think that anything is a done deal, I will say Mateer is a done deal when he takes his first snap in August next year. Like, that's when I will fully believe it's a done deal. But this is the world, right? Everybody wanted kids to have the ability to make money off their name, image, and likeness, and now this is what's came with it. Now next year, everything changes again, so we'll have a different ball game to play next year.
We do.
Most likely.
It'll be fun, though. Buckle up. That's basically I want y'all to just keep your minds, and that's what we're going to go with, is reminding yourself to buckle up. All right, Coop. Final words for the day before we roll up out of here.
Happy holidays to everybody. Granted, this is not what we wanted for this year, and I appreciate you guys are hanging in there. We're approaching 18,000 subscribers, and just to sit out here and talk ball, this is great. Like, appreciate it. I still don't understand it. I think that you guys, anybody who likes me, has serious decision making skills that are lacking. But man, you guys just enjoy your family, enjoy each other. Find the joy, find the positive this year, because man, it's nothing's guaranteed. Not tomorrow. We're alive right now, so just enjoy the moment, and don't screw yourself out of tomorrow. But at the same time, just enjoy everything, because man, it's around the holidays. Stuff like this always always hits a little bit harder, just because you feel for the family and everything like that, and so, man, it's going to be fun. I mean, we got now we've got a couple days of this nonsense left. We get a spring portal right around time of the spring game. They'll probably be getting ready and announcing what day that is. That already been announced, Jay? Or I feel like it hasn't it?
Which one?
The spring game.
It did. It's
okay.
It was announced.
Something. But we got. We get a playoff. It's going to be a fun playoff. And yeah, if you, I tweeted out a kind of a Harry Doyle meme a while back. But if you guys have not been paying attention to the Oklahoma basketball team, is they are playing very well too.
April 20th for the spring game, and yes, basketball team is 10-0. The women are also
top 10. Women are top 10. Softball tees off here before too long. So, we still have lots of competition to lead us through. And, man, we don't talk basketball much, Jay, but it's crazy. Like, every single year being in the Big 12, you've got your Kansas, you've got your Houston now, your Texas Tech, all these great, teams. But this year, the SEC has the most ranked teams, and it's just crazy. It's like we thought we were going to get a little bit more of a what's the word I'm looking for? Like an easier schedule or an easier run? Well, maybe we do. Maybe we don't. But I want to see what Kentucky looks like this year. With Cal being gone, see what Arkansas looks like with them. Texas and OU come in, and Benji, I haven't been following it. I feel like Texas is catching their legs right now, but there's some good guys on the OU squad. A lot of fun ballers between Fears and Jalen Moore. I mean, those guys are ballers. Elvis drops almost 30 points the other day, and then he's just an assist machine. He was hitting threes. Beat Oklahoma State last night.
Yep. Oklahoma men's 10-0, women are 9-1, but they're ranked number 10 in the country. That Duke loss was the only one they had, but it's going to be a fun hoop season. I don't really watch a lot of college basketball until usually about March 1st. Conference championships, and then the NCAA tourneys is usually when I jump into college ball, because that's when I'm in Vegas and I can actually enjoy just watching nonstop college ball. So, all right. Thank y'all for pulling up. Hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, rate us, review us, give us 5. Shout out again to our partners over at BetUS. They hooked up the gamer. 150% bonus on your first deposit, $2,000. 125% bonus on your second and third of the $2,000 while using promo code YouTube150. BetUS, where the game begins, and we will catch all of you sometime midweek. Hopefully, we've got news. And if we do, I'll have a video, and we will come in here and hang out and talk about it. We're out. Peace.